The Ravens are 1-2, and the cracks are starting to show a little bit. Lamar's making plays, but the offense isn't fully clicking, and the defense, it's giving up way too much. This isn't the Baltimore that the Baltimore fans were promised. So the question is, can the Ravens turn it around? Is it just early rust? Have they just faced a few difficult opponents, or is this systemic of a bigger problem? We're going to dive into this. So, well, Peter, thoughts on this? Ravens are 1-2, but do you think it's a sign of a bigger problem, or is it just they are 1-2 and they've played some good teams? They've lost to the Bills, and they've lost to the Lions, two good teams.
Yep. I think it's these meltdowns, these late game meltdowns that they seem to have defensively. The offense sometimes gets a bit anemic as well. It's just frustrating because you figured they'd be beyond this right now. You know, they're historically a really well-run organization. You know, they've got a balanced offense when they need to be balanced. Obviously, everything goes through Derrick Henry. If Lamar gets a hot hand, then it can really pick up. They've got the playmakers. It just seems that they can't quite figure it out when they need to win the games the most. You know, sometimes they'll drop a game mid-season here and there, but it's just their consistency. I think if you're a Ravens fan, you're going to win a lot of games this year, that's for sure. But the games you need to win, that's going to be the one that's going to be irking you. Like if it's like a must-win game, you're sitting on the edge of your seat, or if it's an opponent that you think you've put away, but they're like a score away, it's in the fourth, you're living on the edge of your seat. You know, I can't say the same for the Lions. They're just a well-oiled machine right now. They have an identity. They're really balanced. We're talking offense, defense, special teams.
So to quickly talk about this game that's just happened on Monday night, the Lions, for the first time this season, played Lions football. Right? First time they've actually played proper Lions football in terms of they ran the ball really well, they executed, and they passed the ball pretty damn well. And on the defensive side of the ball, they managed to get to Lamar. They sacked him a few times, and in the first couple of games, they hadn't got everything clicking offensive line wise. They hadn't got it clicking particularly, and in this game they did. Now, for the Ravens, what I will say is that they're losing a fair bit in the trenches. Offensive line play isn't as good as you want it to be. On the defensive side of the ball, they're playing soft. That's the way I would say it. That they're not playing the brand that the Ravens are expected, right? Defensively, they're expected to be. A lot of their guys are losing their matchups. We saw it in the touchdown throw to Amon-Ra. That so many things went wrong with that play. Goff could have gone to anybody pretty much. I posted in a Discord actually, said the coach is going to ask what went wrong with this play, and the players are just going to say yes. Everything went wrong. Two players took each other out. Humphrey got burned 1-on-1 by Amon-Ra. The center of the field was wide open, so even if he didn't throw to Amon-Ra, he would throw it to the center of the field and it would have been a touchdown anyway. These kind of things just can't continue. Like, against the good teams, you can't continually mess up. Can't get bullied at the line of scrimmage. And then you can't give up these kind of plays as well. It's just... Granted, they've played some good teams to start this season. Peter, your thoughts on this?
Remember at the start of the season, what's the one thing I said about the Ravens on the defensive side of the ball? I said something. What I said was, who is the defensive leader of this team? Because
I think the only defensive leader is Madubuike, right? And that's about it.
And right now, they don't
He's not on the field all the time.
exactly. They don't have that dog on defense that sometimes, at some point in the game, you got to get the guys together and be like, look, we're making a stand here. They are not going to score, right? I'll make a reference, I know I always make a reference to my Cardinals, but unfortunately I gotta make a reference. So this past weekend when we played the 49ers, there was a moment where the 49ers ran the ball 4 times. They were trying to get into the end zone, and we stopped them 4 times.
And
And
they passed it in the
that
flat.
moment,
They passed it in the flat to McCaffrey, and he got absolutely obliterated. Right?
and they got absolutely obliterated by Michael Wilson Sr. He is starting to make a stand like I'm the defensive leader of this team. It's Buddha, then it's me. When we decide that you're not scoring, you are not scoring. Now, Baltimore's problem right now is their defense, right? It's only 3 games played this season, but the defense gonna get better real fast because that's the reason why they're losing these games. They're 30th against the run. They're giving up 149 yards per game against the run. If you can't stop the run in the NFL defensively, you're cooked.
It just opens up
Like
everything
teams like
because the pass game's going to work because you're going
exactly.
to have to commit to the run so much.
So Baltimore gotta find a way to commit. If it means for their next game they're gonna sell out to stop the run, try it, see if it's gonna work, and make the
Now,
adjustments. Because I think that is the issue that's affecting them right now.
They need a
I
pass
think
rusher. They need someone that can rush the quarterback when they need those moments, and they just don't have that.
because if you're going to run in
I agree,
base,
but
if you're
Will,
particularly if you're going to run
because
in base, you're not going to you're going to that's you selling out for the run, right? Or you have a heavier guy in the nickel. Like when you
yeah,
got if you run a safety in the nickel, then that's a little bit different. But when you're running a corner in the nickel, you're in a lighter set. This 12 personnel kind of setup that the Lions run a lot with 2 tight ends, that's going to cause a lot of problems because you're too
absolutely. I
light
mean,
as a team.
yep. Talking about the defensive play, I mean, when we reviewed the coaches' film, remember the Lions play against the Baltimore Ravens all the way down to 4th down. They sold out to stop the run. They're like, if you want to score a touchdown, it has to be another way. You're not scoring the touchdown, running the football.
And they had
Either
really good
through
communication because the
exactly.
Ravens tried to rush to the line and snap the ball, say, all right, we're going to catch you unaware. But they weren't unaware.
Yeah.
No. They were like, hey, this defense is set up to stop the run. No matter how many times you want to run the football, we're gonna stop the run. If you score by a passing play, okay, fair enough, you got us. But you're not rushing to score a touchdown here. And they made a stand. Now Baltimore needs I mean, when you look at their roster, they have the players to be able to have a good defense, but they gotta come
Yeah.
together real fast because their next game, they could be 1-3 because they've got the Chiefs up next. And hey, that could be a tough game too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think just like what Pete said, like if you look across like at their roster, like Marlon Humphreys, Malachi Starks, Raekwon Smith, they've got the pieces there. So I'm thinking like, is it the preparation during the week? Is Harbaugh gonna have to sit in on these defensive meetings and work out like what exactly is going on? Because like even their sack totals, I don't believe they got a single sack the whole game.
But now what I will say is that from an offensive point of view, the run game is not massively dominant from the Chiefs. So this could turn into a bit of a slugfest, a bit of a weird game in that perspective. What I will say is on the offensive side of the ball, they do have one small problem. It's a 6'4" problem, but it's a small problem. And their star running back has fumbled the ball in 3 games in a row.
Yep. More fumbles in the first 3 games, and
I mean, that can be fixed.
It can be fixed, and so what I will say is in this game, the fumble that happened, so Hutch lined up really wide, right? He lined up really wide on the formation, went beyond Henry, went beyond the tight end, and then came back to the ball and punched it out. But Henry was so focused on stiff-arming the first guy, he hadn't actually gone through the line. Because it was at no gain. So what I've seen is that particularly if you look at the Jonathan Taylor one, like the big stiff arm play that he had in the Colts game, once the running back gets through the line, then they start stiff arming the guys in, like the second level. But if they haven't got through the line and you're starting to stiff arm, somebody's going to peanut punch that ball out.
Yep.
And
Heavy hands.
It completely momentum killed the Ravens in this game. Yeah, they only gave up 3, but it was a massive momentum shift. Because it was the first play of a drive, they got the ball back, they gave it straight back to them.
It
In the game
completely
against
nullifies the drive.
in against the Bills, completely changed the complexion of the game. His fumble. Yeah, they won in the game in week 2, but we know he was annoyed. But it's more of just get through the line. He knows what to do. He's been in the league long enough.
Yeah, I think it's something that, I think because we've had 3 back-to-back, it just seems a lot worse than it actually is. Like, yeah, Derrick Henry knows how to carry the ball. It's not really a problem. If you think of fumbling, he's not even in the equation. So I think he's just as frustrated. I think that one thing we don't want the team to do, I think if you're a Ravens fan, is lock in on this and spend valuable time and resources like trying to fix a problem that I don't.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a
bad luck,
worrying start. It's a worrying start. If it continues, then there's reason to be concerned. But the thing is, the season that he fumbled the most, right?
Yeah,
he had 349 attempts for 1,500 yards.
Yeah, I think
you're not gonna.
As well, like once this starts happening, it's annoying because now as like a coach, you've got to prepare for it because defenders are going to key off on it. They're going to be like, oh, he's going through like a fumbling spot. So
like Chris Jones next week.
Yeah, they're not going to be just saying tackle him. They're going to be like play the ball. We might get lucky, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on Derrick Henry as well because now he realizes they might not even be trying to tackle me anymore. They might be trying to pop this ball out, so especially open field. So it's really going to be interesting to see how he overcomes that.
I think the Ravens are going to be, they should be good, but the thing is defensively they're a little bit softer than they would want to be. So let's see how it goes in the coming weeks. Drop a comment down below as to what you think are the issues with the Ravens, whether it's just that they're not allowing Lamar to be Lamar, or what do they need to do differently to kind of turn this around?